and change. And we have greatly missed you guys. So much has gone on in the world, and we definitely need to have a conversation. We brought Ben back. You, he's starting his YouTube and his YouTube and podcasting, and so we definitely look forward to hearing his perspective on things. And make sure you guys follow him, and he'll shout out his information at the end. And we got Seth returning from the best. And then you have me. I've been gone, guys, because my wife was pregnant. She gave birth to a newborn.
Woo!
Yeah,
First child.
first child, and it took me long enough, right? Um,
It's the right time.
so it's always the right time.
It's always the right time.
So yeah, so now that's why I've been gone for 2 months, adapting to fatherhood. But like I said, gas is on the pedal now. We're back, and we're gonna be talking about some. Well, today's episode, we're gonna be talking about a lot of things that's been happening over the last couple of weeks. Before we got in, we were talking about our president. How can we say his non-eloquent performance? And so we were talking about it. Ben was giving me his perspective, what he thinks, Biden should do in terms of like, you know, Ben and Seth was giving me their perspective of when the possibility of him possibly leaving if he is going to leave, and I wanted to also ask them who would replace him.
Kamala Harris, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's the choice they have to go with. So the real question is who's going to be VP? Because they have
no idea.
the money. Yeah, but Biden dropping out. I mean, the right time to have this conversation was a year ago during the primaries.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have the primaries, which is insane because what the Democrats were running on this cycle is being the party that cares about democracy. But they didn't do democracy because the DNC didn't hold a primary. And now they're making the same mistake they did back in 2016, where they're pushing an unpopular establishment Democrat and focusing solely on Trump attacking him, making him look like even more of a martyr, which is what he thrives on. It's insane.
Yeah, go ahead, Seth. Sorry.
The one thing that Republicans have on Democrats is that they cater their messaging and their policies according to their base, for the most part. They've become the party that their base wanted them to become. The Democrats have been the same party, the same Clintonite, new Democrat, 90s Democrats that they have been this entire time. Obama was the exact same mold. They're all following the same mold, and they expect us to have the same amount of passion. Yet,
even when everybody wants Bernie. I mean, Bernie is the single most popular Democrat. I mean, like, Obama's more popular with the Democratic base, because he's Obama. But
Bernie's not a Democrat.
Bernie. And like as we were saying before, like you're right, the Republicans have been switching their messaging around to fit their base, and right now at the RNC, they've gone a full 180 on their messaging. I mean, because of course they get to play the unity aspect now, which they're doing a very good job of, but they're like talking about immigrants and saying they're not bad as long as they come in legally. They brought the Teamsters into the RNC. I mean, what I was saying earlier was that it feels like Joe Biden and Trump Freaky Friday. I mean, like Trump at the first night of the RNC looked pensive, and he almost got killed, so it makes sense. But that same night when Biden had his interview with Holt, he was aggressive and vague on the actual policy. Like, it is so weird. They've just swapped.
Yeah. And I think that they have to swap because if you look at the poll numbers, it's Biden is hurting right now. His normal base is the black vote, and that's deteriorating. And so now he has to kind of make up ground by kind of switching his messaging to get other types of voters. He does see the eroding of the black vote. And so you're right. So I think that's causing a switch because obviously Trump is tailoring his message to minorities, not just black votes, but just minorities in general, without, upsetting his base by seeing he's like, for amnesty, so he's trying to play that little, seesaw. And Biden is trying to give his supporters, well, people who don't really like him, but who are Republicans. So he has to kind of come with this hardline messaging. It's just kind of like his messaging is one. He has a bad PR and a bad public speaker, a bad writer, because his messaging now it's like 1 week he'll be like, "Oh, I gotta get tough on Israel." The next week's like, "Israel's our best friend. We give him so much weapons." 1 week he's like, "I've done so much for the black community." And then the next week he just says something else. And it's like their messaging, it's kind of what Kamala Harris had a problem with the first 3 years of her being vice president. It was just like so swingy.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to say. Now it's like Biden's doing the same thing because it's like I can't stand behind something because my coalition is very diverse. So I'm just gonna say whatever to not upset anybody.
And
Yeah.
on that immigration flip-flopping, it's crazy because Democrats have usually been right on immigration, saying it's good for the country, right? But he's abdicated his position to the Republicans, and he's capitulated with them, and he's gone into immigrants are bad, let's make sure to close the border fully, which, is good messaging because the Senate Republicans and Trump said, no, don't do it because it's good politics for us to have this as an issue. So like we were winning on that message, but he's bad at communicating anything. So he's not even able to communicate that loss as a win. But it's also, we don't want it. The Democratic base doesn't want us to just kill all the immigrants coming over. And the Republican base and the Republican leadership will never stop blaming him for any illegal people that are coming over anyway. No. It's just ridiculous to capitulate when you're never going to get the credit for doing
it. Right?
I think the fundamental problem is that Biden lives in a completely different world than the entire Democratic Party. I think that like the amount of people, the yes men he has surrounding him, have painted a completely different picture of his administration, and not just like more recently. I feel like he's been also stuck in the old way of doing politics for a while. You think you have to cater to the right in order to win elections instead of lead or make the right cater to you, which is something that they've not really ever tried. It seems like they just always try the same strategy. And when it fails, it's like, oh, we didn't go far enough. We didn't get moderate enough. It's like they're never learning the right lesson. At this point, left, right, moderate, none of this stuff matters. It's just like at this point, we just need to beat Trump. And Joe Biden is literally the only person I think that would lose to Trump.
Exactly. Like the debate wasn't even good for Trump. He didn't do well. Like Biden just did so terribly. And when they keep on haranguing this January 6th thing, right? Which, yes, terrible. And that should automatically disqualify him. But it was 4 years ago. We have a very short attention span. And Trump doesn't look like the same guy that he did back then. So it doesn't even work right now. And again, he thrives on being a martyr. So that messaging was saying, like, look how evil Trump is. Look how much we have to get him. It just helps him out even more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad predicament that we're in because the reality is we are in a tough situation because if you can't articulate your message, I mean, the job is communications at the end of the day. It's the foundation of what the job is. And if we can't seem to articulate a plan going forward, then what are you asking the American people to vote for? They're going to vote for the guy with the plan. And right now, Trump's plan is as archaic and as insane as it is, it's still a plan. And he's able to communicate that plan. I think Biden has plans, but I don't think he can communicate them effectively.
I don't think Biden has plans. I think that Biden has completely failed as his number one function as a president, which, most of the executive branch, most of our government actually is run more by the legislature, not really run by the president. The president's main job is to be the leader of the party and to sort of, be representative of their views and designate them in the right direction. But at this point, we don't know what Biden's offering America in the next 4 years. He isn't talking about that. He's just saying why he is the right person to beat Trump, which is, oh, I'm experienced. And who else are you going to do? See, I won the primary. And none of it is valid enough reason for us to pick a losing candidate or anything.
Especially if it's a fake primary. And you're right, he should be the leader of the party, and he's dragging it down. Every single question he's asked is, do you know that you're old? Do you remember that you're old, right? Are you going to step down? Are you sure you're not going to step down? Nothing is about the policy. And the few times that he actually talks about it, he's vague and nobody can understand it. The Democratic base, because we already know the talking points, we can, understand what he's getting at. But just people who need to be convinced physically just can't understand what he's saying. He's dragging everybody down and is selfish to stay in the race. And there are a lot of Democrats who say, sit down, shut up, don't even talk about this. By saying this, you're making it worse. But that's not true. I mean, we need to talk about reality, and nobody deserves the nomination. Just because he got it before does not mean he deserves it again.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that
sweeping under the rug is not going to fix anything.
It's not. I mean, this coronation is not the way to do it, especially not in the Democratic Party. Republicans can kind of do it because they always fall in line, but Democrats, they want to believe in the person in that seat that actually has a vision for what they, what they see their lives in the next 20 years or 10 years. And for Biden, he's just, his problem is that he's been doing it for how old was Biden? 80?
He got into the Senate in 72. So, 10 years before Nixon, I think he had a worse debate performance than Nixon.
Yes. And Nixon went against Kennedy. So I tell you something. Biden went against Trump. And then, what's funny? I was researching recently after the debate, I kind of looked into this because the narrative the next day was, Obama had a bad performance. So I went back and I watched the Mitt Romney and Obama debate, and I was like, "Wait, are you literally saying that what Biden did was the same as Obama? Obama was coherent. He just wasn't present at the debate, but he could still articulate his position. Biden can't even articulate a position without losing his train of thought.
Yeah,
and this is not he's not in long, expansive." Idea setting or stating ideas. He's literally saying an idea that's less than a minute and he can't finish it. And that to me that's a problem. It's a problem that if Democrats, we try to sweep under the rug, we're going to lose, and we're going to lose big, because the reality is you have to be able to articulate your message. And if it's going to be Kamala Harris that's going to step up and be that person, then let's just
let's do it.
Let's do it
now.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to happen at this point. I don't even think it's a majority of Democrats sweeping under the rug. I feel like it's very few people actually doing it. And the people that are mostly I don't even think that what I was about to say is true, because the people leading the charge now, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, I'd be hearing every time I look on Twitter, every few tweets is a different representative who's called for Biden to drop out. How much of the party is it going to take for him to lose support before he realizes that Kamala Harris would get all of their support, more support than he had in 2020 probably. It would be. Go ahead.
I don't understand why they can't just do a switch.
They can't. I mean, it's just he has to accept it, and
he lives in his own world.
Yeah. There was all those stories coming out about how he's as scary as Trump during a briefing, right?
I've heard that.
And now I got to say, the media narrative surrounding this has been insane, and especially since Trump got shot, and saying we need to tone down the rhetoric. I honestly agree with Biden when he was saying that, but look how bad Trump has been about the rhetoric, because the worst thing they can pull on Biden is that he used the word crosshairs, which is so stupid to be
that was so dumb.
Complaining about, but he can't push the people forward. And he just looks like a corpse every time he's on stage. And yes, we should be talking about the times Trump lied, but that's normal. We get that. And a majority of the people don't want Trump. And a majority of the people also don't want Biden. Remember, they were both on stage of the debate saying, I wouldn't be in this race, except he's in this race.
Yes.
Both drop out.
Yeah. Or what about the part when they were talking about their golf games? They were like, I can take you onto the golf course. I don't need a handicap. I was like, are we really talking about golf in the middle of a debate?
Yeah.
You should just let them both retire and they can go compete,
Yeah,
without
in golf.
stakes.
I think we'd all that's what we need to have national healing. Both of them retire and
It's
just do a
televised.
golf tournament.
Yes,
It would be televised,
make it
Trump
like a
would
nice
get.
program.
Oh,
Yeah,
it would be so great.
that
That's
would be
the best
great.
time.
Maybe let RFK compete.
Yeah. What's it? What
Yeah.
is this stuff? You follow RFK more than I follow RFK. What's this
Yeah.
thing about him and Trump meeting
Oh.
up and
No, he was
some
talking
weird
on the
thing.
phone. Just talking on the phone. And it was a recorded conversation. And I actually think that the main point that people are freaking out over is an exaggeration, and I don't think it means what people think it means.
Okay.
Like
Right.
Trump was on the phone giving like a whole speech about like getting shot at and stuff like that, and the main point was he said, "We're gonna win this," and RFK was like, "Yeah, yeah," and people thought that to mean like, "Oh, RFK means we, as in him and Trump, are in it together," kind of thing, and like, "Oh, we're
Okay.
secretly in
Coercing.
cahoots over." I think RFK was just agreeing that Trump was going to win. I think that
Which
was
is
all he was
weird
saying.
anyway. Because
it's
like he should not be saying. I mean, like, yes. I mean, like, admittedly, if Biden stays in the race, Trump has it. It's simply because people are not enthused by Biden.
I think that's he was just acknowledging that in behind closed doors.
And because behind closed doors, sure.
That's what I think.
But then he shouldn't be. I mean, maybe it's a good idea to run just to give people a choice if they don't want Biden or Trump. I can respect that.
No,
I guess.
I think he's egocentric and he just likes the attention. At the end of the day, RFK, I don't think he's a psyop. I don't think he even principally is opposed to Trump or even Biden winning. I think he just likes the fun of it. And he's in a political family, and
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be playing fun with.
But like, he's also gaining, connections and name recognition that he can use at any point in the future. You know what I mean? Like he's only gonna be more powerful. Okay, but nobody knew.
Kennedy,
he's like he literally could not have a bigger name.
Yeah.
No, he had a big name, but did you really know about him before this? No, he's a mainstream figure now in America, not only in politics, but in like.
I didn't need to know his name. So when you said he was a Kennedy,
it's not for you.
He immediately got like 5-10% support. That's how strong that name is. When you say you're a Kennedy, it's like it automatically just like, oh, you're Kennedy. And
but it's just like a grift. Running for president is a grift.
I don't know.
Well, for Trump it is, because he was just doing to get out of trouble. And I got to say this, like, as much as he is one of the worst people alive, right? I got to respect his tenacity. Like, that man doesn't step down. And he has, like, all the money and all the resources, so it's not, like, incredibly impressive. But he did get shot at. And he went to rallies the next day. Like, I have to respect the fact that he does not back down to that stuff.
He's certainly running a better campaign than Biden.
Yeah, but goddamn, those pictures were so good. I hated how good those pictures were. Like the Trump, he was raising his fist, shouting "fight" while being held down by Secret Service agents.
That was a tough one.
It didn't really affect polls the way you think.
Say again?
So fortunately, it didn't really affect the polls the way you'd think.
Yeah.
There's some polls which Biden lost like 2%, but there's some polls where Biden was winning more than before Trump got shot. So it's more or less a wash.
No, but the thing is, the problem with polls is everyone's very, very kind of like Democrat Republican right now. Your independents are not really. They're really right now in the middle. But we all know what's going to happen, and this is why Ben and you are both correct. Like the sooner he gets out, the better, because it helps Kamala Harris establish a presidential voice.
Although you could argue that the later she comes in, the less time she has for Trump to like attack her or whatever. But no
people don't want to feel tricked
because they don't want to feel tricked. They don't want to be. Yeah, exactly, man.
I agree with you. I take back what I said.
The best time for him to drop out is 1 minute after Trump got shot, because then the media doesn't know what to do, right? Because they have to cover both, right? And like the only thing that could take media attention away from the president stepping down is the president getting shot.
What do you
Yeah.
think about that? Sid?
Or you could also say the only thing taken away from Trump getting shot is Biden stepping down. You
Then
know,
that'd
because
be
that's
better for the
also
Democrats
that's
because
also
Trump
a
doesn't
media
get all
cycle we
the.
don't want. So
But then Trump doesn't get the martyrdom that he gets.
no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
It would be better if we washed over that a little
Yeah.
bit. You know,
I
but
feel
it's,
like
I guess we're too late for that.
I feel like the RNC is kind of already washed it out of the cycle with the whole JD Vance announcement and the JD
A little
Vance
bit.
the
A
RNC
little
announcement.
bit.
I think it washed the fact that he
I
got shot.
think they
I'm
did
not saying
that.
it's completely washed, but I'm saying the conversation starting to move a little bit into the
I
JD
think that
Vance
was able to
conversation.
happen because the shooter was a Republican. If he was a Democrat, they would milk this all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's true.
And it is surprising how little they've really milked it. I mean, Trump's worn like that huge bandage, which is like a little bit absurd.
Yeah.
But I like could you have imagined 2016 Trump not going? I couldn't even imagine what he'd be like, you know, from getting shot. But he was like chill. I mean, he didn't get crazy. He called for unity after. It's weird. It makes it a little bit scary because now he still has the same policy, right? And he's still absolutely going to implement Project 2025. And I still fully believe that he's going to destroy the democracy. At least
the unity is short-lived.
Yeah. But because they're messaging well around it, it's going to make people believe it.
Yeah.
I think that something that came out was how much Trump is actually like become more spiritual or something as a result of this, because he thinks that like only God could have. I actually believe that a near-death experience would bring that out of him. But let me finish. That he thinks that God chose him to survive because you know God is anointing him, kind of shit. So it's for narcissistic reasons, and he's only used that to further his own Messiah complex. And I think that's what's really going to happen. And I do think it's possible that negatively affects his, you know, I do think, you know, around the margins, I think people will see if he's so overt about like, I'm Christ, like, like he said shit similar to that already. But
you know what? I remember a point from a little bit earlier. The way Biden can win this race is by using the immunity he was given. Just cancel all student debt, cancel all medical debt, cap rent prices, use that mandate, put everything under your official act, just make everybody's life better. Like, he could just do that now.
I would love to see the timeline in which Biden decides to step down from the race, but then since he's not running, just starts just doing random executive shit or passing, like just crazy progressive shit, and then he just retires, and that's it. And Kamala gets to run on all of that. In the meantime, I that's a possibility. I could see that.
Someone says he has to use the playbook of Lyndon B. Johnson. I think it was a historian who said that. And it was true.
Kamala's the new LBJ.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I have Lyndon Johnson's biography right here.
Yeah.
Certainly not Biden's, not LBJ.
He was very successful because he understood about timing. And that's the thing Biden needs to understand. Vice President Kamala Harris, I think her issue is, and she got better after the debate. I saw her do these like round robin interviews after the debate.
She's been getting better.
She's been getting better, but I think she needs to really focus in on what's her voice like to the people.
Beyond the coconut trees and weird planets.
Yeah, beyond the surface level stuff, like, you know, and get rid of the laugh.
I think that she's not used to being a number two. I think that she was fairly comfortable in the spotlight when she ran for president, and you could see that in debates how comfortable she was speaking on her own behalf and stuff like that. I feel like when I think she ultimately was a little surprised that Biden picked her, kind of like after their whole beef and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like she didn't really know where to fit in, or like what her voice was or her role was necessarily. Yeah. And so that was an awkward like 2 years of her trying to figure it out. And I feel like now that the attention they gave her enough space that the attention was off of her, that people, I don't know, I think she kind of figured it out. And I think that she'd be doing a lot better job. She's a lot of experience behind the scenes. And, you know, just the fact that she's young, attractive, You know, she doesn't have enough stuff that people don't like about her. She's not stale, even if she's a little quirky. You know, I think that will help her more than it will hurt her in some ways. You know, because the people that need to be convinced are not people that would be off put by, you know, her being a woman or her being black. For the most part, those people are going to vote for RFK or Trump anyways, or not vote at all. They weren't going to.
About 30% of the electorate is that.
There's probably like 10 in Alabama that liked that Biden was white, but then a lot of some of his economic policies, probably 10 of them or so. You know, there's some Dixiecrats out there, but I really think she would gain substantially more voters than Biden.
Oh, well, I think she'll get that spirit back, like a black woman running finally.
Yeah, passion.
She'll get a lot of black women supporters to come out.
Which not necessarily people that Biden didn't have, but I think a lot of stuff that I think that she could run on Biden's accomplishments very effectively, like, and she'd be able to, you know, take credit to an extent for them, while also dodging Biden's blunders, like his age, his narcissism, his actions in Palestine, which she has a softer view on, and she could definitely do a better job of running on the positives and avoiding the negatives. It just makes sense all the way across the board. I feel like most of the Democratic Party is aware of it. I think I've seen polling where 11% of people think that in the Democratic Party that Biden should stay in, like literally around the margins. The only people that
I thought it was a new poll that 66 said they want him out.
Or maybe what I saw was you would be comfortable with Kamala Harris replacing Biden.
Okay,
nomination or something like that. Like if Biden were to drop out, you know what I'm saying? Like all the polling is saying everybody's on board. Everybody is perfectly fine with Joe dropping out before the nomination if he chooses to. There's nobody that's like gonna switch if he doesn't do that, or you know.
Democrats are gonna vote Democrats.
And like they keep on saying, I'm the one person that can do it. He's probably the only person that can't do it. You know, like he literally can't.
Dean Phillips could do it.
Dean Phillips, yeah.
You could.
I mean, like my perfect ticket right now would be probably Bernie Abrams. That's
Bernie's too old, even if he's coherent.
I know. No, but
dream realistic ticket, Tim Walz.
Tim Walz.
Who?
Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. Dude, look at his accomplishments. He is the number.
Minnesota.
He's pretty good.
But he's
the best governor. And so
no, but we need Minnesota.
That's a great state.
Like a
great state. I'm not saying nothing wrong with Minnesota. Nationally, people don't know people from Minnesota. Naturally,
that's not a bad thing. Bill Clinton was from Arkansas. Bill Clinton was from Arkansas.
Yeah, but he ran for 4 years. It wasn't like he was just like Bill. He had to run for a very long time, and he needed a lot of clout.
Yeah, but now you can put a tweet out and everybody can see it in half a second.
Yeah. That's true too. That is true. It's a different
All I was saying, he would be the best pick ideally. Not that we could realistically switch him in any sort of way. Just saying, he is the most accomplished. It was unbelievably unfathomable, like farther left than Bernie, and like he's passing every single thing. Yes, more. I mean, I'm talking about like policy wise. Like
I don't follow Minnesota politics.
Like you got to look into Minnesota's accomplishments because they've gone.
I'm not saying that it's like okay. So I'm not saying that he's not accomplished, but this is the same fallacy that Ron DeSantis fell into. Like I'm so accomplished as a governor of Florida. Yeah, but once you left Florida, no one knew who you were.
Yeah, but those weren't even real accomplishments. He just did.
I'm saying that
like Tim Walz has expanded like the social safety net of Minnesota and strengthening government and eliminate corruption. Ron DeSantis was doing performative cultural bills and stuff like that.
It was perceived as success. It was perceived as success. I'm not saying it was, but that's what it was perceived. And I'm saying also, yeah, go ahead, man.
The reason it didn't work for him, because it was perceived by success, but only by people who are farther right than even Trump was at that point.
Yeah.
And he was, trying to outflank Trump from the right, which there isn't enough people on that side in order to take.
And it's not a growing demographic either.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, once you have these, perception of success, and you go on a national stage, it gets fine. People start to look at it really, really hard. And when they do, it gets really, really difficult for you. Like this JD Vance pick. It's a perfect segue. Trump
Yeah.
made him VP. Great. He's a young guy, but he said a lot of crazy stuff. And that stuff is going to, in the next couple cycles, it's going to be like, hey, did he really say that diversity and inclusion is like bad? Did he like stuff like that is like on a national stage, people think you're crazy.
But the rules are different for Republicans and Democrats, especially when Democrats.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Republicans are a little
that
crazier
could be.
in general.
I think
Like I think Tim Walz gives like a grandpa vibe, but he's probably 67 or something, and he's I feel like he just seems like a younger version of Bernie in the sense that he just seems like he's trying to provide for your table for poor people, all this stuff, and from a genuine place. He's very accomplished and authentic, that kind of stuff. As we segue into the conversation of if Kamala Harris seemingly going to be a nominee, who is she going to pick for vice president? Trump's pick was obviously stupid because Ohio is a red state. If you're going for strategic reasons, every single white guy from Ohio that's Catholic is going to vote for Donald Trump.
And it just gives him the same voter. Yeah, it just gives him the same voters anyway.
And he's farther right.
Well, I think Vance's real problem is that he flip flops. He was a never Trumper, and then he took a huge far right swing. He was an atheist. Then his wife converted to Catholicism. At least that's what I
think he was a Protestant Christian who converted to Catholicism.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge. When you convert to Catholicism in adulthood, it's very like it's not a casual thing.
Yeah. But he just changes so much so rapidly into such extreme levels. Like, I mean, I know a lot of moderate Democrats moderate Republicans were pissed by that pick.
I think that's exactly why Trump picked him, is because he's amenable to change. Well, somebody like Pence is somebody who has convictions, even if they're wrong. He would not budge when it came to what things Trump asked for. I think Vance will give 100% of what Trump asks. Trump isn't as concerned about his successor, except for the fact that I think that it's the Teddy Roosevelt thing where he's really concerned about his successor doing exactly what he would do, except as a different person. Like he would be a loyalist to Trump's agenda, while Pence is more focused on like really religious things. And he might agree with Trump on some things, but like Pence has very different motivations. Trump's ultimate motivation is consolidation of power, and I think Vance wants to continue that as well.
And Vance will be a lapdog, but he doesn't look like one. Like Ramaswamy would have looked like Trump's little. Can I curse on here?
Oh, yeah.
He seems more desperate.
Exactly, but Vance, like, you understand that he has power on his own.
Yeah, he's famous. He wrote Hillbilly Elegy or whatever, and it became a movie or a show or something or Hulu. Like I don't know if you knew about that. No, it's how he's famous. He was like a big author of this book about like living in rural West Virginia, or it's part of Ohio that looks like it's West Virginia. It's just mountainous.
Yeah, that's what they said. Didn't this guy go to Yale?
What was that?
Didn't this guy go to Yale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his mom was like addicted to pills. She was like a nurse, and she had easy access, and she was an addict. And now he just is like blames that on immigrants, even though he's in Ohio, and she was a nurse and could get drugs when she wants. Somehow now it's illegal aliens' fault for drug addiction in America, which we all know fentanyl is not coming across the border. Like that's not where
it is, but via American citizens.
Yeah, it's not like the Mexicans are bringing fentanyl,
Yeah.
And this all happened when we ran out of heroin because we left Afghanistan, which was probably a good reason why we were in. If you didn't know that, Afghanistan produces like 80-something% of the world's poppies, and their heroin is produced all in Afghanistan. Look it up. And all of a sudden we don't use Oxy anymore in pills. Now they prescribe. They have fentanyl. Fentanyl's all of a sudden exploded. His heroin crisis has gone down like overnight.
But I still gotta say one more thing about JD Vance. He's a Marine. I'm a Marine.
Was he? Okay.
I give him that credit. He's a United States Marine. And I'm done saying nice things. I mean, it stops there. But he is a Marine, so I gotta give him that double dog. But his policies, I just don't see how. Here's the thing: like this conversation was saying, it's like if Biden drops out, we get someone else, and we move to a different nominee. Who you guys want? If Kamala's the president, who do you think she should pick for VP?
Well, he wants Wallace.
As VP?
Yeah, no, I think that there'll be better picks in Walls. He's a little bit older. I do think he's accomplished, and he'd be a great choice, even if as a VP. But I think he'd be a great presidential pick. I think ultimately they should be from a pretty safe blue state, because, or at least able to renominate, a replacement or something. Obviously, you don't want a blue senator. You don't want Sherrod Brown or somebody akin to him, being picked, and then a red governor can replace it with a red senator, that kind of stuff. So you want it to be safe in that way, but you want them to add something to take it for sure. Something that Kamala is definitely missing. So people have been saying Kamala and a white guy. I mean, I think there's some merit to it. I think doesn't have to be just any white person just to balance it out. I feel like that's what they did with Joe Biden. So they're just he's a white guy. So
personally, I do not want Newsom. I think Newsom would be.
No, I was just popping in my head Newsom, but yeah,
you can't do Newsom. I'm pretty sure they don't get delegates or something because they're from the same state. There's some weird law where they can't get.
She's from the same. Yeah, forgot about that.
Rubio, right?
Yeah.
Rubio. That's why Rubio had to get eliminated, because Trump wanted him to be VP, but they're from the same state, and so he couldn't pick Rubio.
Would be good. Who's the guy from West Virginia?
Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, but actually that'd be a good pick, though.
Well, I don't know, because I don't know. It might convince the moderate Republicans come over.
The problem. Well, yeah, the moderate Republicans maybe, but the problem is he's not even popular. Joe Manchin's not popular, with even moderate Democrats.
Maybe we win West Virginia. That'd be crazy. This cycle, Democrats win West Virginia
with Kamala Harris. No,
I think her VP. I don't know. It's got to be someone that gets.
I never said who I think. I think it should be JD Pritzker.
Really?
Yeah,
I hear that a lot.
What was that?
It's not bad. It's not a bad pick,
right? Because he's a big guy. He's conservative coded features. Yeah. You know what I mean? He looks like a everyday Republican, even though he is a billionaire or whatever. Yes. So he has financial backs and ties that'll help her win. But he's also he's not like a corrupt billionaire. Like he's legit with his policies. He's passing legit stuff in Illinois. He's he's not a grifter. He's for real. And he's a really good rhetorician, so he can argue really well. He would make JD Vance look like a bitch on the debate floor. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing to watch. He would murder him. Well, absolutely.
So you're not for flopping Biden to make Biden VP?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
That'd be the single stupidest move. I don't think even the DNC is that stupid.
No, that would inspire nobody.
That'd be awesome.
He can frame it like, look, I'm helping her transition into presidency.
He can do that without being VP.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's an idea.
I've heard that idea. Horrible. Can't do it.
You can still keep the title of president. What is it? What's her name? Nancy Pelosi. What's her title?
Right Nothing. Now? She's not speaker anymore.
No, she is a speaker, but it's a.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she has a fancy title now. Let me see if I can find it. She's the speaker.
Like speaker specialist or something like that. I know. I think
Emeritus. I think emeritus. I'm pronouncing that incorrect.
Isn't that the honorary title?
Emeritus.
Emeritus, thank you.
Isn't that an honorary title they give to really tenured people?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like a powerful position.
No, it's a made up position. But what I'm saying is, we can give him something like that, like Vice President Emeritus.
Why do we have to give him anything?
Huh?
I want him to just relax. He doesn't need to do anything. He
He's
needs
Relax.
working his brain too hard.
no, for real. Aren't we like he needs
It's
to go
elder
to,
abuse. It's like a little bit elder
yeah.
abuse.
He
No,
needs to go sit on a porch and take the right pills and read a book and sit in a rocking chair, enjoy the sunset.
Yeah,
Because
look at so much Botox and orange spray paint.
yeah,
No,
I was like-
they turned Biden to Orange Man. Like
Yeah.
they had they when that happened, they should have known it was too much.
yeah.
Yes.
No, well, he was obviously like so pale that it was like distracting.
Yeah,
Like that's probably the same reason Trump does what he does. You know.
Oh, that's why Trump's looks orange. Is that like
Oh.
a treatment?
No, I'm pretty sure they're old man Irish and German or like pale as
Yeah.
shit, and
It
it doesn't look good for the cameras. So, honest to
they're
God,
interesting. I was watching CNN and I was laughing because they said the way that the White House staff is treating Joe Biden, they should all be charged with elderly abuse.
yeah.
I
mean,
was
like-
like, what?
After the debate, I held a watch party for the campaign, and
Yeah.
I mean it was with the 20 of the most like sycophantic Biden supporters ever, right? That first pause, I mean, their souls just left their body, right?
Oh,
like we
yeah.
all knew it was over then. But went back to my house with my friend, and we're watching like CNN, and on CNN they were saying it needed to be over. Like, I mean, oh my! If CNN and MSNBC are talking about whether or not to replace Biden, like
that's why I feel like there's no coming back from this. Like,
yeah,
you have to see it written on the wall at some point.
No, I was in the middle of a run. I was running and I heard the first 2 minutes. I just stopped running. I was like, what the hell is this? It's like he's been practicing for 3 weeks and this is why he came out.
Yeah.
and like he said that he hasn't even watched it, like at least all the way through. He's watched clips of it. If you are running a campaign for president when it's the most, you're telling everyone it is the single most important campaign ever. This means the difference between having a country and not having a country.
Mhm.
How, and then you have that performance, the single worst debate performance of all time. How do you not study every single inch of second of that? And the reason is either he doesn't care enough to, in which he should not be our nominee, or he physically can't, in which case he should not be our nominee.
Yeah, I don't think.
Or his staffers are protecting, his ego and won't even like show him because they already know he'll get bad. I don't know. They're protecting their jobs and they're protecting their relationship to him and his. Yeah, like I said, they just already know he would just not react well.
But the problem is you can't keep lying because you keep getting caught in lies. That's you can't simple white lie. They're like, oh, he had a cold, he was sick. That's why he had such a bad debate performance. Literally the next day, the president's like, oh no, I had jet lag. That's why I was hurt. That's why I couldn't do it.
No, they just kept doubling the excuses. If they stuck to one, it could be almost believable. But
and
they were scrambling for excuses.
I don't want a president who gets a cold and can't form a sentence. Like,
yeah.
I get feeling bad. I get like not being able to. I get having a cough, like whatever.
Yeah.
He died like halfway through a sentence. Also, here's one of the things that because we were talking before how like Democrats before we can just sweep it under the rug, whatever. Like yeah, he's old, but we're voting for the administration, right? That's how we cope. But it's saying yeah, we're voting for the Democratic administration. Yeah. What happens if he has like an old person moment, says something completely out of pocket, like bomb Russia or something? Who's there to say, no, Mr. President, we can't do that? And should anybody have the power to do that? Because he's the president, you know?
I mean, at this point, if there was anybody there, they would have told him to drop out by now. Like even Obama and Pelosi, they're all struggling to get him to convince him to do it. But I do like I be seeing reports now. I do think it's being set in motion, especially like we saw today. His thing said, "Oh, he's going to drop out if a medical condition is apparent." Then it came out that he had COVID. I feel like did you not hear about that?
No, I saw a headline that said Biden will drop if, but it looked like a clickbait thumbnail.
Oh no, that was legit. He said, "Oh, if there's a major medical condition that keeps me from running, I will drop out." Then, like 2 hours later, the notification that he had COVID came out. I don't think the timing was coincidental. Like I don't even know if he has COVID, but if he is, they're calling it. And
Yeah.
I also saw reports that said like staffers noticed that Biden went from saying Kamala can't win to like asking them, can Kamala win? Like
Yeah.
they've
That
been
would be
asking,
so stupid if he uses an excuse to get out of it, because everyone knows that's fake. Whatever. And I'd respect him so much more if after the debate he said, like, I understand that the American people don't have confidence in me and they want somebody else, and so I'm stepping down. That'd be a respectable thing to do.
But he didn't understand that because he didn't know. Because they were shielding it from him.
Yeah.
I think that if this is true, and then they use the COVID as a disguise to drop out, we really know what it is. We know he doesn't have the mental capacity. And it's
well, I think COVID will, he's not going to be able to campaign for 2 weeks or do really anything or come in contact with people. And I think that that's a fair enough excuse for him to be like, I'm not able to campaign or do my job. And like, this is actually, I'm an old person. And so makes this illness a lot scarier. Like, I think it's best for us to allow vice, because they've been doing a lot of polls. I've been getting texts saying, hey, you there?
Yeah.
Could you vote for Kamala Harris? And
But here's the thing: if Trump gets shot and doesn't drop out, and Biden gets COVID and drops out, but like it doesn't matter if he looks bad anymore because he's gone now.
Yeah,
I don't think it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's been written that he doesn't have the mental capacity. I like your theory that they're trying to transition her, because I have seen Biden change his rhetoric on that. He's like, go ahead, Ben.
When I was up in DC, I was talking to staffers on the Hill, and what they were saying was that a lot of Dems were planning on coming out on Monday, and saying that they don't support, and like if staffers on the Hill, if it's common knowledge with them, the White House has to know about that. So either they're stupid and not planning for it, or they were kind of prepared. But then when Trump got shot, it changed a lot of calculus.
Yeah.
But now they're continually coming out.
I think it's better.
Yeah. I think people thought that. Oh, I was gonna say, I think people thought that they were gonna brush it aside after the Trump thing happened. But the thing they didn't consider is Biden just keeps having things come out about him, and it keeps the eyes on Biden no matter what Trump does. That's how quickly we moved on from Trump's shooting. Is we're back to Biden. I don't think it's gonna unstick. At some point, there's gonna be like 10 Democrats left that want him to stay. Like at some point before he's going to have to do the thing drop out. And I already think they've already come to that conclusion. I think that they already came to the decision, but the main reason Biden did drop out in the first place is because of his ego, and he wants people to have a good perception of him and don't want him to leave in weakness. So, he's instead of the day after the bad polls came out in New York and Pennsylvania of all these swing districts going towards Trump, instead of the next day him dropping out and it being apparent, he's trying to. They're looking for an opportunity while they prod her as a candidate. So I think they have decided for like a couple weeks now.
Potentially, I mean, maybe Newsom was saying, "No, I want to be the nominee," and we could have a primary. We absolutely could have a primary.
Or open convention. Yeah,
it would also be good for the Democratic Party to unite under somebody, as long as somebody like good. If they pull Hillary back in. If the establishment is just picking somebody, like I'm a little bit okay with that, because even generic Democrat is up 6 points against Biden.
But they don't all get Kamala's money, the money that Joe Biden's raised already.
And I think people are fine with Kamala doing it. Like, she doesn't have the most enthusiasm for her as a person, but she's not 80.
She just needs a charismatic VP. That's all she needs.
Yeah,
I think that she needs to be on like, not literally this, but like Joe Rogan or something, and
That'd be good.
maybe not literally Joe Rogan, but just something where she's
Because
very
Joe Rogan's a softball. Like, Joe Rogan isn't gonna harangue her. Like
he's not gonna harangue her, but he's gonna master questions where I feel like the problem with me with Vice President Kamala Harris, I just don't think she has a cool factor. She's not cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like stuff like Joe
she's a little out of touch.
She's a lot of touch. She just doesn't have that. I'm going to say the French word, but je ne sais quoi, or the swag. If you're American, she just doesn't have it.
She doesn't have the blue collar factor to her. Having lived in the Bay Area,
but that's a different swag. That's
what I'm implying. That's the swag. Having lived in the Bay Area, she is just a Californian. Like she just was raised in a very beautiful area with a lot of nice, nice this and that, and like I'm sure she's had her own struggle with racism growing up when the time she did all these sort of things. But at the end of the day, she just seems like somebody that, privileged, having lived in the literally like nicest 50-mile radius in like the entire world, like the richest area, the Bay Area. Like she's just a little out of touch.
As a person running for state senate in Florida, I have to disagree with you there.
Okay.
State Senate District 23 is the single most beautiful place on the planet.
I didn't say beautiful. I just meant like nice, as in this is like the wealthiest 50 square radius in like the entire world.
I can agree with that. State Senate District 3 is not part of the elite.
They're what?
We are not the elites.
There you go. No, they're not the elites. My area couldn't be more elites. Yeah. They are literally elites left and right.
But I can tell you this. I mean, you can be an elite.
Sorry, back to what Ben just said. I don't think once we've mentioned this entire episode. Ben's running for state senate.
Yeah, he threw it out there. And he was going to get a 5-minute to end this thing to tell us how we can help and donate.
Yeah, I don't think we've brought enough attention to this. But obviously Ben is a very brilliant person, knows what he's talking about. And I guarantee there's nobody with better vision for his district than Ben. Like, I don't know who this opponent is, but they are a loser. Guaranteed.
Unfortunately, by all accounts, they're a very nice person. You know them personally. But they have the
nice person politics.
Yeah, they have the worst policy. It just hurts everybody.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
That makes you a worse person than
they were the ones that sponsored the bill to let children work to midnight on school nights.
Okay.
That doesn't make you a very nice person.
Not agree with that, yeah.
Makes you a Grinch.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, look, I'm all for Democrats being all up and down the ticket. Because I think that have you guys seen the new poll in Florida?
Trump's only 4 points up.
Yeah, we've been gaining. And that's not because of Biden. That's because of new leadership in the Democratic Party in Florida. And people like Ben.
Nikki Fried's kicking ass, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's doing a great job. And people like Ben running, finally getting good candidates in there. And that's why we're turning the tide.
It's crazy that they went with Charlie Crist and not her in hindsight. But maybe in the hindsight it's for better. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten this job. I don't know.
Well, the problem with the Democratic Party in Florida is we're behind. Well, it used to be. We're just behind every other Democratic state because our ideas and
not necessarily in the South.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're pretty good for the South, but
when you think about it, it's between us and Georgia, we're really the only blue states in the South.
No, that is true.
And like the party, we got all legislative seats filled. We have 140 candidates running for the U.S. House, Senate, House, State House, and Senate, and it's incredible that we have every single seat filled. But the state party has I don't know if I can say how much money they have publicly.
No, you don't have to say it, but we're behind the resources.
Oh my God, it's so bad. But it's amazing because the Florida Republican Party is so pissed at Fried because she's gone back so strong, and the chair of the Florida Republican Party actually had a little spat with me on Twitter because I posted something in response. He reposted the Leon County Dems saying that the Leon County Dems was saying that the Republicans did something bad. Then he said, "Oh, it's the Democrats in our state house that are causing all of this bad stuff to happen over the past 30 years." And then I say, I posed to him, I was like, "What do you mean Democrats in the House? There's been a Republican supermajority for the past 30 years." And then he responds to me saying, "I get that you're a fake candidate who's a carpetbagger, but in Tallahassee, it's the Democrats that control everything." And I'm like, and I respond to him, "Okay, Mr. Power, if I love the state that I grew up in very much, and if you want to talk about policy anytime, we can." But they're so weird. And every single post this guy makes is saying like, "Screw you, Nikki Fried, you Democrat." Like, they're really.
I mean, you have to be a little unhinged to vote for the modern Republican Party in general. So
That's true.
it's
That's
unsurprising.
true. Like most modern Republicans are not even Republicans anymore. They're Democrats.
No, it's a new party altogether.
Yeah, that's not even that's something that's not being talked about at all. And I think that's the one light that Biden may have is that there are a lot of Republicans, moderates and left leaning, are Democrats, and they've been now than they have been. Oh, so yeah, so that's one of the things that to me I think it's pretty amazing that we're not talking about is that silent voice of Republican who are actually going to vote Democrat.
You mean like the Never Trumpers, like that kind of person?
Yeah, the Never Trumpers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, because it is interesting because the new Republican Party is a completely different flavor of. I don't even know if we can call it conservatism, at least in the traditional sense.
No, it's not at all.
Because the conservatives of 15 years ago, like the neocons, the free marketers, all those people are now like, reluctant maybe, but they're voting Democratic. Like they've carved out a space completely in politics just for them, and I feel like it's not very good for their self-preservation. If they lose, I don't feel like they're gonna have enough flame to keep the movement going past Trump.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not very smart. I feel like Republicans are washed for like, if they lose, they're washed for a while. Which is why like, I don't think that the traditional concept of like how we bounce back and forth between polarities between parties. 4 years of this Republican, 4 years of the Democrat. I don't think that that's necessarily an inevitability. I think it's something that we can avoid. Like, we could break the cycle if we can just beat Trump this time and actually pass something.
I think people are tired of the hyper partisanship in like every single day. Yeah. And I think Trump getting shot was probably a breaking point because people were like, "Oh, is it insane?" If somehow January 6th wasn't like that, but I think people just want the partisanship to be a little bit less. And like, you're right. If the Democrats got in there and just like passed the bills that every single person wants, they never lose another election. Oh, hey, Matthew, you absolutely can help. Go to benbraver.org, and we have our campaign kickoff tomorrow, Thursday. Well, that is tomorrow. Actually, is it today yet?
It's today.
We have our campaign kickoff today. At 6 at the Florida Ave Brewing Company.
Yeah. Hope we got that. No, we got that, Matthew. Yes, we as we're winding down, campaigns are very, 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 because I've ran campaigns, at least 2 of them, and for me, the amount of people who come and help and take the time to spend to help you accomplish your vision is very, very important. And for me, that's one of the things I loved about campaigning was the people the new friends I met and new people like Seth and Ben who helped me try to fulfill a dream that I tried to do, And so I admire Ben for doing that. And like Seth said, everything that Seth said is 100% about Ben. He's very smart. He's always thinking about what ways we can bring people together and move our state forward. And so I wanted to say that, Ben, I tip my hat to you, clap my hands, because that's an amazing, amazing thing that you're doing. And we want to give you the final 2 minutes to plug your Twitter, plug your YouTube, plug your campaign website, and donations and donations and donations because Ben's not going to say it, but donations matter. And we have to donate, especially progressive messages. And if you can't donate, you can make a phone call. So I'll let Ben finish the rest, but I'm telling you guys, I'm imploring you guys to get involved in Ben's because we have a big platform here. We have 50, well, I don't even know the number. Seth knows the number, but around roughly 40, 30,000 progressives here. So
60,000.
60,000, thank you. 60,000 progressives. So we are strong throughout the country. We're strong throughout this whole entire nation. I know we have people from California all the way up to Pennsylvania, everywhere. And guess what? You may not be able to vote, but you can definitely donate. So I'll let you have it, Ben.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I always love talking to y'all. It's amazing. And we have to do it more consistently, more often now.
Yes.
But
We can make
yeah,
that.
I'm running for state senate in Florida because I'm a teacher and I see the chronic underinvestment in our school system and in all of our critical infrastructure. I mean, we have the same problems that we did when I was in middle school here, and I'm a middle school teacher now. We don't have any public transportation. My opponent defunded it, and it helps every economy it touches. We haven't been expanding Medicaid. I mean, that's billions of dollars of federal money that we already paid for that our state legislature has just rejected so that people can't get their health care. And yeah, as Jesse was saying, we need donations. It is unfortunately one of the single most important things to do in an election because ideas don't matter all the time. It's being able to spread whatever ideas you have. And my opponent, because he's an incumbent, is able to spread those ideas. And because the Florida Republican Party is so strong and so wealthy, they're supporting him in almost every way, and I'm a little bit on my own, which is why I need y'all. And with 60,000 people, even if each one of you only donates $1, which you're more than welcome to donate a little bit more, that would overtake his advantage in terms of money. The campaign is going incredibly strongly. It is, as you were saying, it is so inspiring to see all the people that really care about the community. And what's even more inspiring is to meet other Republicans who initially we might think that we disagree, but we really do agree on 80% of the issues. And then usually the last 20% is just because we have some messaging conflict somewhere, right? And so, yeah, you can go to my website, benbraver.org. All the information is on there. All of my social media handles are at benbraverfl. My TikTok, I've been posting a lot of stuff, a lot of short little explainers on issues. If you have any questions, I love doing a video on that. Instagram, Twitter, posting a lot of Twitter content, YouTube, and Facebook. But I'm bad at posting on Facebook.
And I am too. I think we all are.
I don't even have Facebook.
You know,
I'm worse than both of you.
Jesus, you got to step up, man. Facebook is
I'm
like
so
for our grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That we have to be able to connect with our grandparents,
true.
and that's what Facebook is. And guys, I just want to let you know what I'm doing because it seems like I'm distracted, but I'm not. I'm actually donating to Ben right now because I'm trying to set an example of how you guys should be doing it right now, or when you're seeing this, to make sure you're going out there and you're donating to candidates, especially progressive candidates, because this is how we get them elected. What we do here is great. We have conversations, and those conversations hopefully leads to great policies, and we bring people in to make those policies happen. But it's candidates who get elected who actually get them passed. So we have to donate, and I just donated to Ben, and you guys need to go out there and donate too. If you guys want this our conversation to be actual laws, this is how we do it. We support candidates. So I know you got any last words, Seth, Ben, before you
I
time
mean,
out?
vote or donating to a down the ballot candidate is the best use of your money towards actually getting policies achieved in your perspective. I mean, donating to a presidential candidate gets you pretty much nowhere. They got all these millions in super PACs, and it's going to be overshadowed by different interests. And, it's going to be overshadowed by the millions that they need. Donating small amounts of money to a local candidate is going to go directly into something that they may pay for, that they may need, that will get their name across, like a direct translation. So much better incentive to donate to smaller office candidates who can actually make big change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you. I hope you guys imagine more, and we'll see you next time.
Everybody have a